It's been a dramatic first 24 hours here in Cleveland. The Never Trump delegates wasted no time with a last-ditch effort to keep Donald Trump from officially securing the nomination. But RNC leaders quickly shut down their efforts.
It's already gone, already defeated. We're on to nominating Donald Trump as president.
Get over yourself. Get over yourself.
But the main focus of the day was Melania Trump's headliner speech that offered the public a personal picture of the candidate, showing his softer side as a husband and father.
He's tough when he has to be, but he's also kind and fair and caring.
Other noteworthy speakers highlighted why they agree the soon-to-be GOP nominee will be the law and order candidate who will make America safe again.
Donald Trump is everything Hillary Clinton is not. And when it comes to the threat posed by radical Islamic terrorism, he will not hesitate to kill the terrorists who threaten American lives.
And now back to my colleague John Jessup, who has more on the security here in Cleveland.
It's been a fiery campaign season for both parties, with nationwide protesters at times clashing with the police and each other at various political events. Add in the recent shootings of police officers in Baton Rouge and Dallas, and it's no wonder tensions in the air heading into this year's GOP convention. But the Republican National Committee says it's confident in the security measures set in place.
We are working every day to make sure that every person who's down here who's attending convention is safe.
RNC spokeswoman Audrey Scagnelli says a lot of hard work has gone into preparing for this event.
We have had a team here on the ground for well over a year working on preparing for the convention, and that's everything from transportation logistics.
That preparation also includes hours of tactical training, along with the city's purchase of 300 bicycles to expand bike patrols and easily navigate the crowds. The Cleveland Police Department, the Secret Service, and the FBI, along with other police departments from across the country, will help keep the peace if necessary. And some of the city's law enforcement, understandably, are on edge after the ambushes in Dallas and Baton Rouge.
Scream about Trump, scream about Hillary, I don't care. Don't throw a stone. Don't throw a rock at my guys.
Detective Steve Loomis, a 33-year veteran with the Cleveland Police, is also the president of the city's Police Patrolmen's Association. Loomis has been the biggest critic of Cleveland and the RNC when it comes to convention security.
My biggest concern is for the safety and well-being of our guys. I'm concerned that we're not going to have the numbers that we should have.
He tells CBN News the federal government will be on the watch for potential terrorist activity. While most of the issues seem to be resolved, there are still a few safety concerns, like having so many protesters with different agendas converging in one place. Tim Salati of Citizens for Trump told CBN News his group plans to hold a rally during the convention and explained how members plan to protect themselves from potential violence. He said, "Ohio is an open carry state. If you feel the need to carry a gun to protect yourself, be responsible with it. We are going to tell them we don't want them to bring long arms. You really can't tell anyone not to bring a gun." Black Lives Matter did not respond to CBN when we posed the same question to them. Meanwhile, members of the city's faith community are promoting a message of change. Dr. R.A. Vernon, who pastors Cleveland's largest predominantly black church, told CBN News that although he opposes violence, he also thinks the convention could be the perfect opportunity to highlight injustice.
The prophetic part of me understands that with the whole world watching, will there ever be a better time to point to what's happening to innocent black lives in America? Yes, they want this convention to go off without controversy, when sometimes it's only controversy that brings light to issues.
As you can see, security is pretty tight, so anyone who isn't supposed to be here will have a tough time trying to get in. Still, Cleveland city officials and faith leaders all seem to agree on one thing, that if trouble comes, it probably won't be from Cleveland residents. They say Cleveland residents will remain respectful no matter what their ideological differences, and they're hoping outsiders will do the same. John Jessup, CBN News, reporting in Cleveland.
Well, the one ripple in the pond seems to be the fact that Paul Manafort, the general chairman of Trump's campaign, picked a fight with John Kasich, who's the Republican governor of Ohio. That was a stupid thing to do. And the statements were just totally over the top. They were gratuitous. I know Kasich. I've known him for many, many years as a good friend. He isn't a fan of Trump, but that's nevertheless, and he didn't come to the convention, which is being held in his own state, but that means you still don't get in a fight with him. That isn't smart, and I don't understand why those guys just can't stop fighting. But there seems to be some attempt during this convention to bring harmony. Our political correspondent David Brody is with us now from Cleveland. And David, what about Melania Trump's speech last night? The AP picked up on it. What are the people saying, or are they saying anything?
Well, let me give you an anecdote here, Pat, for a moment. I wake up, I'm in the hotel room or in the hotel lobby this morning, and people all around me are talking about the, quote, plagiarism charges this morning, instead of talking about how great that speech was. And I think that says a lot. Look, the Trump campaign lost a critical 24 hours of positive coverage from Melania Trump. I don't think there's any question about it. So the short-term political damage is not good for them. But the long-term story here, Pat, is that the reality is that Melania Trump gave a very good speech last night. Look, she was poised, smart, articulate on that stage on Monday night. And what that means, Pat, going forward is that Melania Trump needs to get out on the stump, to have some sort of rhyme there. Melania Trump on the stump. I think they should use that, actually, Pat. But that's what she needs to do. And that's what the campaign needs to do, because clearly she is articulate, doing a very good job, and they need help among women voters. She could be a key part of that.
Well, she's absolutely gorgeous. Of course, she is a renowned model, a European model, and Mr. Trump has a good eye for beauty. What about the rest of the delegates? It looks like there's finally some harmony reigning among the Republicans now. Is that right?
Yeah, there was a bit of a kerfuffle. Of course, the mainstream media will call it chaos. Look, I was on the floor when it happened. There was some frustration. There is no doubt about it. And this is overflow frustration from months and months of the vitriol and the campaigning and that Never Trump movement. And this was finally the last spewage, if you will, of the Never Trump movement, because tonight, Tuesday night, they will do the official roll call vote. And though it might get boisterous and a bit vocal at times, Donald Trump indeed will have the delegates that he needs to be the Republican nominee. So yes, did it help the unity portion of what the Trump message wants to be ultimately? No, but it was a blip on a radar that at least the Trump campaign hopes that they'll move forward on the unity message. We'll hear Paul Ryan tonight, Kevin McCarthy. So there'll be some folks here basically saying, look, we need to pull together as one party. We'll see how that goes.
You know, David, I've organized events, nothing of that scale, but nevertheless, I'm quite in awe of how they brought that thing together, because, you know, they're out there campaigning and wandering around the country and kind of yelling at each other. And all of a sudden, you've got this gorgeous set in this building. It's really very beautiful. What do you think? Who did it?
Well, Chris Christie, you know, and not that Chris Christie designed the set, I'm not saying that, Pat, but Chris Christie has really led this effort to kind of get this convention moving in the right direction. And clearly, they've done a good job aesthetically. The question will be, you know, how it will play in the next few days or so. And we'll see. Look, Donald Trump coming out Monday night to, what was that, like, it was like WrestleMania. I mean, it was smoke and it was blue fog and it was, I mean, it reminded me of that game show, The Weakest Link, where all the fog is around. It was fascinating, and was, by the way, had to be the shortest speech Donald Trump ever made, by the way. I think it was about 42 seconds, and that's nothing for Donald J. Trump.
Well, have you got any poll numbers right now? It looks like Trump was ahead in some of them, but he was behind in others. We don't know yet if there's any bounce yet from that one night. Have you heard any poll numbers?
We have heard some poll numbers, and the bottom line, it's all in the margin of error as it relates to key battleground states: Ohio, Florida, Michigan, you can go on, Iowa as well, all within that +3, +4, most of them showing Hillary Clinton up +3 or 4, but Donald Trump is in the game. And remember, he hasn't really hit much on the emails yet. I mean, he's done some, but believe me, he's got a few months to go to hit on the email server. He'll hit on Benghazi. We heard some of that last night. And so there's a lot of things in the toolbox for Donald Trump over the next few months. And so the campaign believes that they'll have time to really paint Hillary Clinton. They've already tried to paint her as crooked Hillary. You know, it's interesting. Donald Trump, when he puts up his poll numbers on Instagram and some of the other social media, it says Donald Trump, and then it puts his number, and then underneath it puts crooked Hillary. 38%. He doesn't even put Hillary Clinton. So, look, he does a very good job at defining the narrative. He'll do it again to Hillary. And, you know, we'll see. Look, they've hired about 15, 16 staffers in key battleground states. They just did that in the last 24 hours. So there's movement on their part.
Well, it looks like Trump is appealing to a constituency that's normally gone with the Democrats. I mean, that's those various speeches he's been making about protectionism and loss of jobs and all that. That's resonating with blue-collar workers that have been laid off or are underemployed.
There is no doubt about that, Pat, and this is the big concern among the Hillary Clinton campaign and Democrats writ large. Look, I talked to a Democrat strategist who said our biggest concern, they think Hillary's going to win, of course, but their biggest concern is that silent majority that we hear so much about, the folks that are out there that have been disenfranchised, disenchanted with the political process that Donald Trump is tapping into. And if you notice, he talks about Bernie Sanders quite a bit because he wants some of those votes. It's fascinating that a billionaire like Donald Trump can talk like a cab driver and appeal to blue-collar workers. It is a fascinating political skill, no doubt about it. And Donald Trump can actually get there potentially if he continues to do that. Look, but he's got some work to do with women. He's got some work to do with minorities. He's going to talk about how he's going to be a jobs president. We're going to hear that tonight at the convention because he believes that saying he's going to be a jobs president will help in the minority community, and that's their tact going forward.
David, thank you. We'll look forward to your continued reports from Cleveland, the Republican convention.